Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Gardner. Welcome and thank you, first off, to everybody watching both here and at home. Workshops or stage readings like this are so important to the development of a musical, and this is our first one for the Art Forger. So we are excited to have you hear it for the first time, and to be honest, we're kind of hearing it for the first time out loud like this too. So it's a little exciting, a little nerve-wracking. It's going to be great. So many creative works start on the page, and the Art Forger started with the novel by B.A. Shapiro. It's a compelling story, and because of the nature of our medium, we can only touch the tip of the iceberg. So if you haven't already, we highly suggest picking up this best-selling novel. And thank you to B.A., who I know is watching, for letting us work in this world. Isabel Stewart. Additional huge thanks to New Musicals, Inc., that's where we are, right here in North Hollywood, and specifically to Elise Dewsbury, who has not only witnessed the development to this point, but has asked great questions along our journey that have pushed this to its current incarnation. So thank you, Elise, working behind the scenes today. We also have to give a quick shout out to Amy Francis Schott, who helped us recruit some of the performers that we have here with us tonight. So thank you, Amy. Speaking of, I'd also like to thank this phenomenal cast who are lending their considerable talents to this reading. Jennifer Sunbell, Amanda Kruger, Matt Merchant, Raleigh Tyler, Jamie Lynn Beatty, and Spencer Carney. Also, we are so lucky. Oh, applause, fine. Okay. Right, you know, and they're amazing. So, also, we are so lucky to have Ron Barnett on the piano. Thank you so much for letting us your talents tonight. We're so grateful for you. Last but certainly not least, Nicholas David Brandt, our book writer, who will be musical book writer. There's a difference, the book of the novel and then the musical book instead of script is what we call it. He will be lending his voice to the cast as well. We all are. This is a team effort tonight. And of course, our lyricist and composer, Laura Watkins. So if in your viewing you have thoughts that you would like to share with the creative team of myself and Nick and Laura, if something maybe didn't make sense in the way we told the story, or if there's a song that you really loved, any and all notes, we would love them. Please reach out to us at reasonablyepicmusicals@gmail.com. If you don't know, or if you don't already have one of our emails, feedback is really an important part of this journey and this workshop, and I will pre-thank you for all of yours. Okay, now without further ado, I present to you the very first reading of the new musical of The Art Forger, based on the novel by B.A. Shapiro, with music and lyrics by Laura Watkins and book by Nicholas David Brandt. All of my things fall to the ground here. Act 1, Scene 1. Before anything, before the opening overture, there is a painting on the stage of Belle Gardner, who wears upscale clothing befitting a person in the early 1900s. A painting, a frame, a light gauze. When the musical begins, the gauze and frame disappear, leaving only Belle. She is bathed in an orange-tinted light and composes a letter.
Amelia, my beautiful niece, next time that I see you, you'll be dressed like a bride. Big news, dear, my museum is complete. All the guests have arrived. Time to let them inside.
Belle lands stage right and still in front of the curtain, poised to address the audience. Note that this will be her area that she returns to throughout the show.
It's hard to put into words how pleased I am to welcome you to the grand opening of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. I'm so excited to share my beautiful collection with you.
2 reporters.
Is it true that you acquired every piece of art personally, Ms. Gardner?
Yes, and I placed each piece myself as well.
So, will the portrait John Sargent painted of you be on display, Belle?
As I've said before, Jack and I have decided not to showcase that portrait until after our deaths.
Is that because of the piece's immodest nature?
Or was there an affair between the two of you?
Or could it be that he is a homosexual, as a rumor mill would have so many of us believe?
Oh, goodness me. Have I somehow found myself at a beauty salon with all this gossiping? When you're good and finished with your two-bit questions and would like to see some of the most beautiful artwork the world has to offer, follow me into the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
Belle proudly marches off stage. Scene 2, the curtain rises to reveal the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, but today, not in the past. Thoughtfully curated throughout, each piece of art, every piece of wallpaper or ceiling panel, every tile, every plant in the garden is an artistic choice, just as Belle intended. Rick, contemporarily fashionable and on the north side of his 20s, addresses the audience directly, his tour group.
Hello, in-towners and out-of-towners, Bostonians and visitors. Welcome to the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Today is November 22nd, and I'll lead your tour. If you've enjoyed yourself, my name is Rick. If you haven't, my name is Lisa. If you're in for quite a treat today. I know all the gossip. Because the art world is like a painting. It's full of intrigue, it's full of lies, it's full of passion, crimes, and secrets. And everybody wants their prize. Cause the art world is a gamble, from the creation to its sale. Behind them all there is a story, but what is true and what's a tall tale?
Elena, the museum director, walks through.
We've talked about this, Rick. Less talking, more touring.
Sure thing, boss.
And please stop calling me boss.
Of course, female employer. Elena. So, how about we get started on this tour through the Isabella Gardner Museum? A museum isn't just pretty paintings and oohs and ahs. Each piece of art has a story.
The centerpiece of the stage is a large screen that will shift to accommodate the scene. Here it shifts between the works of art as Rick speaks of them. Rick will step from one side to the other to guide the journey.
Here is Sean Singer Sargent.
The screen reflects Sargent's work.
Didn't you know he practically ended his career because of painting Madame X? And now we've come to Degas. You may all think his paintings of the ballet are innocent and sweet, but in reality, those poor girls were forced into servitude by their families, and in turn, forced to deal with sexual predators. His ballet statue caused such a scandal, he never showed it again. Because the art world is like a painting. You scratch the surface, and you will find that every artist has their demons, whether it's real or in their mind. Cause the art world is a business, and it's brutal when you fail. It makes a dark, compelling story, but what is true and what's a tall tale?
Rick sees Claire enter. He waves to her.
Speaking of amazing artists with absolutely no skeletons in their closet. Hi, Claire.
Hey.
I,
Rick, you tour guiding again?
I think she just likes to saddle me with these lovely people. Tour group, Claire Roth, tour group. Are you here to submit for the Gardner Museum art competition? The Gardner Museum sponsors many competitions for aspiring artists to continue their ongoing support of the humanities.
And that's why I'm here.
Crystal enters.
You're submitting to the Gardner comp? Don't you think that's a wasted effort? You think they'd ever accept anything from you? She's on a bit of a blacklist.
You want a tour group, Crystal? Get your own.
Crystal huffs and exits. Claire also exits. A series of empty frames lower from the ceiling.
I see you have a keen eye and have noticed the empty frames on the wall. As many of you know, the greatest art heist in history took place in this very building that we are standing in. 13 masterpieces were stolen right out of their frames, and since Belle wrote in her will that none of these paintings or frames could ever be moved, we just have to leave the empties on the wall. This is where you ask me? What art heist, Rick? Thank you so much for asking. In March of 1990, everything was going pretty much as expected. The museum thought that their security was good, but it turns out a few things had been neglected. 'Cause one spring night they locked up their doors, thinking that all would be well, that they had done their chores. But when they came the next morning, 13 masterpieces were gone. It was the art heist of a century, and we still can't solve the crime. They took Vermeer and Manet and Degas, but we still can't solve after this long time. It was the art heist of a century, and we've been foiled at every turn as we stare sadly at the wall space and wait for their return. After the bath, and other pieces are probably sitting in a mafia warehouse right now. It's a tragedy made all the worse since Belle made a rule that no new art could ever be displayed here. Why, you may ask? Well, she marched to her own drummer, and she wanted everything just so. And you may ask, are all collectors like this? From what I've heard and personally experienced, they are an eccentric bunch. The rumor mill never stops churning and turning. From their affairs with artists, to blackmail, to obsession. Gettys and Guggenheims, Dinsags and Dukes. There was scandal in all their lives, they're all kind of kooks. And even Belle had rumors that she was beyond the pale. Was there truth behind these stories? We may never know the real tale. Who likes news? Follow me.
Rick exits. Claire enters and approaches a curator's assistant who doesn't bother to look up at her.
Hi, I'm here to submit a painting.
Name of collection.
Windows.
Name of painting.
Broken glass.
Name of artist.
Claire Roth.
Claire Roth.
Aidan Markle watches from the wings as the attack unfolds.
The Great Pretender. You have a lot of nerve.
Another curator scurries over.
Would you like to take credit for any other artist's work while you're here?
A third curator's assistant joins the scene.
I'm surprised you'd have time for an original work with all the copies you've been making.
I never took credit for anything that wasn't mine. You don't know the real story.
The story where you tried to take credit for Isaac Cullen's work.
The one where he dumped you and you went crying to the Met that he signed his name to your painting?
The one where he was so depressed by your betrayal that he took his own life.
Aidan steps up.
Just take her submission.
Of course, Mr. Markle.
Claire, we should talk.
Because the art world's like a painting, but when you try to lift the veil, people scorn what it reveals, 'cause they would rather have the tall tale. The Great Pretender is your name. The Great Pretender is your claim to fame. The Great Pretender, true or not. They don't listen.
But what is true, and what's it all tale?
What is true and what's a tall tale?
Everyone but Claire exits. The scenery shifts to the new scene, building around her still body. Scene 3, Claire's loft studio. The screen at the center stage now acts as a window to the outside world. Claire uses this not only for light, but also to inspire her work.
What are you going to be? From this window, I can see every color on the spectrum. Will you be inspired by the nice buildings full of people in suits? Or the alleys where people piss against the not-so-nice buildings?
Claire steps back into a spotlight as the rest of the stage goes dark.
With the sun overhead, I see the ochre light. The trees are viridian, the colors bright. A gutter, a leaf, a simple urban motif, a rusty ladder. There is stone, there is glass, and there's a broken section. Transparent white will give the best reflection. Ivory black for that stone in the back, and rose matter. But at the end of the day, I'm simply wasting my time. Nobody's gonna see you. thing to do. Reproductions.com.
A buzzing alerts Claire someone's at her door.
Yeah?
Hi, Claire. It's Aiden Markle.
You're here?
Yeah, to see you. Can I come up?
Yes. He actually came, holy frozen hell, he wants to come in, and I say, yeah, sure as fuck. When I saw him last week, I guess he said we should speak. I haven't showered. Should I put out the modern? Would he like these glazes? Where is the series with the light in phases? He'll think I'm a lush, oh God, where is my brush? Don't be a coward. Claire, get a hold of yourself. This is no time to freak out. No one else is coming by, so don't blow it. It's not like he'll make my life any worse. I've got to keep my aplomb. Simply enter the door and do not bring up the past. This could be my only chance. I guess the chips will fall where they may. This could be my lucky day, or else I'm stuck with you. Reproductions.com. Stay calm.
Claire opens the door to see Aiden there. Aiden steps around her to look at her loft.
You seem a bit shocked to see me, Claire.
I wasn't actually expecting you.
You were expecting someone else named Aiden Markle?
No.
Aiden circles, taking the time to admire a couple of her works, even as Claire follows behind. He reaches out as if to stroke the canvas.
Canvas never judges.
But people will judge based on a canvas, based on a lot of things.
I'm sorry about what happened to you at the museum.
Well, after 3 years, you just get used to it.
Do you?
No.
So this is the collection you wanted to submit from?
Yes, this is Windows.
This is the world as you see it.
Aiden admires a specific piece in her collection.
I wish I could see the world with your eyes. The passion, my God, words. The passion with which you paint. I love that the collection has a cohesion of thought, a through line, but each piece can stand on its own as a unique and original work. It's actually a shame. Once sold, these would all be separated because that holistic effect would be lost.
Or you could just buy them all.
Tempting. I saw an article about your reproductions. You do legit copies of works?
Yeah, girls gotta pay the bills.
Amen to that. But to also be capable of that kind of work and to accomplish it to any degree of success shows a true craftsmanship. How do you find your inspiration there?
I talk to the artists through their paintings, and if I'm lucky, the paintings talk back to me.
Those paintings won't be verified, right?
Why would they be? They know they're getting a copy.
So, hypothetically speaking, how would a person go about fooling a verification?
This is a weird question to ask.
Humor me.
It starts with a sacrifice.
No blood, I hope.
Worse. The age is one of the telltale differentiators between the real thing and a replica. You have to take a sacrificial painting of about the same age as the one you're trying to copy and strip away all of its paint. Then, as you work up to the final piece, you bake the paint between every layer to dry it completely so that it can pass for, say, 100 years old. Canvases and paint have to pass the smell test of age and depth for authenticity. No two brushstrokes are the same, and there's usually enough content from any popular artist, to intimately discern their techniques. Any misstep can be something as simple as misplacing the signature of the artist.
Look, cards on the table, what I'm here to offer you, it's kind of a deal with the devil.
And you're the devil?
Nah. But the devil provides us with this opportunity. You've been following the rules, but it's clear you don't belong. Make a deal with the devil, we can right or wrong. If a deal with the devil were to set something right, if I had that kind of apple, would you bite?
Are you being
Would you
purposely
bite?
vague?
Well, yeah.
Could you at least tell me what's diabolical about it?
I can't tell you anymore unless you say that you are in. And your part in this whole story is a tiny sin. The end justifies the means and we will view it with pride. It is morally ambiguous but fully justified.
What kind of sin and just how tiny exactly?
Well, the end is good, but the means are kind of iffy. Really, if I could, I would change it. There is a legal and there is a legal adjacent. If we wanna play, we don't get to rearrange it. Will you deal with the devil?
You want me to copy a painting?
Not copy, forge.
I don't forge.
Aiden circles to each side of Claire, playing the role of the devil.
Not even for $50,000 and a show of your own.
A show?
My gallery, Markle G. Just your work, just as soon as we're done.
What painting?
A masterpiece. Deserves to be seen by the world. You make your copy, it'll land in some nefarious hands, and then, when the heat dies down, the original goes back to the museum.
So stolen work, crime, forgery, crime, and bad guys who wouldn't mind doing some bodily harm to us? That about sum up your proposal?
Yeah?
Well, what masterpiece?
There's more lines. I can't tell you any details until you're in. How far down the rabbit hole are you willing to go with me, Claire?
Are you asking me to do this because of what happened with Isaac?
I'm asking you despite what happened with Isaac. And you may just be the only artist who can do it, and you're gonna have to trust me, trust that we will get through it. Do this thing you do well, but the stakes are sky high, all your ambitions fulfilled. With one lie, make a deal with the devil, but you keep your soul. Take a risk and make a move, or present your life in a hole. Make a deal with the devil, what's a lie compared to fame? What is sin compared to glory when they venerate your name? What's a little bit of wrong against a megaton of right, when you're getting what you long for, when you finally win the fight? The clock is ticking, Claire, I need an answer by tonight.
How do you expect me to answer when you don't give me any details?
Not after your soul, just your help. We make a deal with the devil, but I'll keep him at bay. It's not like Dracula or Faust, it's not like Dorian Gray. Say yes to money and fame and watch your troubles melt away. And it only takes a deal with the devil.
Aiden extends his hand for a shake as Claire contemplates his offer, lights out. Scene 4. The set shifts to that of a bar around an idle Claire, namely Jake's. Stools and high tops, the bar can't quite decide if it's high-end or a dive, and its clientele also straddle that line. The bar builds around a still stunned Claire, with the table landing in front of her and the stool behind. When she sits, Rick resumes speaking.
Should be here any second.
Who?
Mike. Lawyer by day, artist by night. I swear sometimes you're on a different planet. Please take me with you.
A boyfriend? Potential boyfriend?
Gosh, here he comes.
Mike enters and Rick waves him over.
Hi, Mike, the lawyer. This is Claire, the artist. Join us, the tired, the brave, the aspiring creatives.
Doesn't sound fun when you say it like that.
Because it isn't.
And it isn't pretty. In fact, it sometimes feels like a horror story. For example, when I got out of art school, I was pretty tech savvy, so I built a WordPress site and put my entire collection online. The problem was I still don't know why, people seem to think everything I painted looked sexual. And that led to a little misunderstanding. Everybody thought that my art sold erotica. Everybody thought he's a supplier of kink. Somehow those Google boss thought that my art was XXX. That's quite the artist horror story. Don't you think they thought my skyscrapers were all phallic? And you can guess what they thought of my cat. Every email asked for my new pics. I doubt anybody here can top that.
I don't know if I can top that, but I think my experience is even more embarrassing. I had a painting of mine hanging in my office. It was an abstract I called Thought Police. Sadly, after having it up for a few weeks, I noticed a disheartening trend. Every Everybody thought that my kid had done it. Everybody thought I was dad of the year to put my kid's art up, even though he was a toddler. And that's my artist horror story. Now I'm here. They thought my lines and my thoughts were all scribbles, and the police were his mom and his dad. I didn't want to admit that I didn't have a kid. I doubt you have a horror story quite that sad. So ultimately, I had to either have a kid, which is on the cards, or never show my art again. Still looking for a kid in a totally above the board and legit and legal manner.
Crystal steps over to the group.
I couldn't help but overhear you. Claire can certainly top both of those stories. Come on, Claire, share. No? Well, allow me. The story of Claire and the famous Isaac Cullen.
Isaac Cullen? You knew him.
Oh, she knew him all right. They had a torrid affair back when he was her professor, and artistically blocked by all the pressures of fame, she claimed she wanted to help, and so she painted him a painting which he signed with his name.
But I didn't claim it, it was true.
Isaac sold the painting to the Met, his greatest success.
Which painting?
4G, but Claire is really the one who painted it.
That's what she always said, but Isaac couldn't have been that grateful because he dumped her for a newer model. What was she, Claire? 20?
That's awful.
No, sweet little Claire was pissed. She went to the Met and she told the director that she painted 4G. Isaac denied it, and so they had Claire paint the whole thing again in front of judges.
And after that, they believed me.
Well, even if the judges believed her story, the Met was embarrassed and kept it under wraps. It could have ended there with no more consequences, perhaps.
Claire, you don't have to listen to this.
Except Isaac was so torn up by the accusation that he killed himself. And that made the news, and so everyone learned what she'd done, and why everybody views her as the great pretender. That's her name. The great pretender, that's her claim to fame. The great pretender, that's our Claire. I'm always glad to share.
Remind me again why we tolerate your presence.
Show me the lie.
You know who also is glad to share? Me. Crystal's wealthy family paid for art school, and her snobby rich friends had purchased most of her art. They spent a fortune to promote her in all of the trades, and that's how she got her start.
So what? You think that I'm the only artist who's benefited from their family's support? There are some things they couldn't buy me. Things that I've earned myself. In fact, and I'm not supposed to say anything yet, but you'll all know tomorrow anyway. I won the Gardner Museum art competition. I can't help it that I haven't blown all of my chances.
Well, you'll be glad to know I'm past all that. I have a really good lead on the gallery show. I have a new collection and it's gonna get seen. And soon you will know, there's no more horror story here. Pretty soon you will see what I'm talking about. You'll see my painting front and center in a gallery window with the name Claire Roth. Be sure to check it out.
Claire exits in a huff, lights out. Scene 5. Bathed in an orange-tinted light, Belle Gardner composes a letter.
Amelia, I miss you so much. I got your last letter. I've since you've been blue. A marriage requires adjustment in these early days. I remember it too. But I promise one day you'll learn how to love him someday. He'll quicken your heart, and you will be filled with joy inside, the way that I feel when collecting my art. And you'll be happy like I am. One day you'll wake up and you will finally see that things worked out for the best, and you'll be happy and grateful that you can be free to do what
whatever you please, and you'll approach it with zest. Amelia, I almost forgot. I went to a party so lovely and gay. I dined with the painter Degas. He's asked me to visit his atelier. I think that I've swooned. I long to acquire a painting of his for a year. I showed off my wit. I laid on the charm. Everyone needs a goal, so the path will be clear, and you'll be happy like I am. One day you'll wake up and you will know what to do, and life will flow like a dance, and you'll be happy, completed, a woman of substance, one who doesn't leave anything to chance. 'Cause if you want Degas to like you and paint a painting for your wall, you may just have to bare your shoulder and hope that soon you'll get his call. Amelia, I know what you've heard, but gossip is fleeting and so unrefined. Who cares when you're lost in a painting or lost in a statue? There's beauty to find, so I simply don't mind. And I am happy, delighted, the people I meet, like Mr. Edward Degas. If I was out dropping names, I am so happy to know them. Those stunning creatives, I ignore those society games. And someday soon you'll be here with me, a shining star among us all. That's really all I ever wanted. Our lives will never feel small, and we'll be happy, and we'll be happy, and we'll be happy.
Scene 6. We now find ourselves in the art haven that is Aiden's house. Similar in layout to Claire's loft, but instead of her cohesive collection, Aiden's collection spans artists and genres. Aiden opens the door to let Claire in.
So, is the look on your face one of someone about to say yes? Normally I'm absurdly good at reading people, but I have a surprisingly hard time with you.
The gallery showing. It's still on the table?
Never left the table. And your work is worthy of it, Claire. I need my back scratched for the effort. You understand, right? This calls for some champagne! To our little hush-hush adventure into your soon-to-be very public gallery showing.
Aiden pops the champagne.
I'll arrange for the painting to arrive at your place tomorrow.
Who's the artist?
Aiden presents Claire with a glass of champagne, then gestures.
Degas?
Yep. Can't wait to see your face when you open it.
Why are you doing this?
Drinking adds to the festive nature of the occasion. A collection like mine isn't free.
You have a small fortune in work here. If you really need money, why don't you sell one of these?
Ha! Are you serious? The dolly was my first one. There's something in the light, the spirit of a master upon my wall. The varnish on the agar, the way Cézanne does white. I can't lose them, I need them all. The color and the shade of Warhol, the blending and the small Matisse. I lack an artist's genius. This is the way I get my tiny piece. Look at the red in his eyes and his blush. He made a vase with 5 strokes of a brush. This is a sign from the street where my mother used to play. Even if I had to sell my own shirt, rent out my house, get a place in the dirt, I could not give them away. Some people just can't understand when a painting captures you, it works into your heart. It burrows in your skin. Maybe you will never know when you can't make art yourself. You have no other course. It's your link to the sublime. You can never let them go, never let them go, never let it go. Hear them whisper like a secret.
Aiden exits. Claire lingers as the stage shifts into scene 7, Claire's loft studio. 2 movers each carry a large paper-wrapped art piece onto the stage. Claire enters, wiping her hands.
Where do you want this, miss?
By the window would be perfect.
The movers carry the package towards the window screen. They place it, then exit, replaced at the entryway by Aiden.
I will want full credit for having carried this up.
Aiden presents a much smaller paper-wrapped gift to give to Claire. It's an art book.
Degas' work, in case you need a little inspiration.
Right.
Aiden gestures to the large package.
Shall we?
Claire unwraps the first piece of art, examines it.
I assume this is the sacrifice?
It is. Now, the main event!
Claire and Aiden carefully unwrap the work to reveal the painting, then take a step back to admire it in silence.
Still think you're up to the task?
Is this after the bath? The piece stolen in the Gardner heist?
Aiden prayerfully examines the piece.
Sure looks that way, doesn't it?
Claire spins around from the painting and spots a barcode from the Gardner Museum.
Property of the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Aiden, what have you given me? How did you get this? How do you plan on returning this? You can't just walk into a museum with a piece that's been missing and drop it off at the door, no questions asked.
Better for you not to know. Better that you focus on your work.
How will my work be authenticated?
I hoped you'd know.
Guess you need me to do everything, huh?
Claire approaches some of her supplies.
Well, the first thing you need to do is take a piece of cotton soaked in acetate and hold it above the paint for about a minute.
Claire holds out the cotton. Aiden slides alongside her, grabbing her wrist. She looks up at his face and to his charming smile.
If a painting is less than 100 years old, the paint will soften.
Has it been a minute?
I stopped counting, but now it's 100 years old.
I suppose I should stop distracting you so you can get to work.
I suppose you'll have to let go of my wrist then.
Oh,
Aiden releases her. They slowly separate from each other.
you'll let me know if you need anything?
Of course.
I look forward to your masterpiece.
Aiden exits. Claire regards the painting as she sets up her own easel.
Hello, you 3 ladies. Now that it's just us women, we can talk about what exactly you're doing in the bath, huh? I'm Claire. Oh, and you are? Wait. Let me guess. Simone, Jacqueline, and Francis. I bet you do this every day. You sit and wash your cares away. I guess that I do too. But no one wants to paint me. Taking a shower, I guess. Simone, brushing out all that hair. And Jackie, still stretching out your leg. How long have you been standing there? And Francis, there's something in your pose. Your ankle's kind of clunky. Its angle has a flaw. Not you, Francis. I'm sure you were lovely in reality. It's just that the way you've been painted is flawed. What hubris I show. I'm really sorry, Franny, to criticize Degas. There's something in your stance, the way you hold your towel. It's like an afterthought. Maybe
there's something about you in this. Simone sketched you many times, you're right here. And Jackie, you're here too. But Fran, I don't see you. What makes you special, Franny? Why are you in this painting but not in his other work like the other girls? It's probably quite a good tale. What made him paint you this way? Why aren't you here in this sketchbook? What would he say? I wish that I could ask. I wish that you could tell me. It's like you don't belong. You're just a little wrong.
Claire starts to walk upstage and toward the center as her loft changes. To scene 8, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Claire walks up to a Degas painting, center stage on the hero screen. The empty frames hang nearby. She pulls out her phone to snap a picture as close as one can get without touching the work.
Dare I ask?
Oh, God. I'm doing a deep dive on Degas.
Say that 5 times fast.
Obviously, I can't.
I know. Anything I can help with?
Yeah, do you have any resources from when he painted after the bath?
The infamous bath? From what I know, that was a bit of an illustrious time in our illustrious founder's life as well. It was clearly important to her.
He gestures towards the empty frames.
As you can see. Why the interest? If you're trying to go the scholarly route, like me, I'm going to have to cut you.
I promise I'm not. There's a model.
Oh, in my experience, there's always a model. Because I'm living my best life. Tell me about your model.
Not mine.
Yeah.
Degas. I can't find this particular model in any of his works.
And you think our sainted patron Belle might have the answer?
Claire nods. Rick writes a name on a piece of paper and tears it and hands it to Claire.
What's this?
An address.
To where exactly?
Best source on Belle information going. Her great niece, the last surviving relative. You want Belle answers? Sandra will get to them for you.
As Claire leaves Rick to cross the stage, the setting shifts from museum to scene 9, Sandra's house. A pristine, modern shrine. All of Aiden's art, none of Aiden's clutter. Sandra opens the door. She's an active, youthful 70-something, a big enough personality to keep Claire out without being intimidating.
Hello?
Sandra?
Yes.
Miss Stoneham?
Yes.
Rick Kronmuller from the Gardner Museum said you might know a thing or two about Belle.
At my age, if you don't know a thing or two about everything, you've been living under a rock, Sue. What's your name?
Claire Roth.
You like tea, Claire? I just made some.
I love it.
Sandra welcomes Claire inside.
So, why the interest?
Claire looks around, fishing for a lie, as Sandra approaches a tea car opposite her.
Oh yeah, I'm writing a book on Impressionist painters. Since Belle was such an arts patron.
My mother or my great aunt?
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
My family has some affinity for the name. My grandmother on my mother's side, Amelia, was quite close to the Isabella Stewart Gardner, so much so that she named my mother Belle.
Well, I am open to whatever Belle Gardner might shine some light with my research.
That sounds lovely. We'll consult them both, and between the two of us and the two of them, I'm sure we can come up with at least a few insights.
Do you have any of Isabella's pieces here?
Well, she never let any of her art leave the museum. But I have some correspondence that might prove informative.
You have a lovely collection yourself.
A bit of Belle rubbed off on me.
You're a collector?
Yes, that, and I'm afraid I can't part with the painting either.
Claire spots an out-of-place curtain blocking a section of the wall.
What's behind that curtain?
Fabulous prizes.
Really?
No. I watch a lot of game shows. That curtain's there to cover up some renovation, pay it no mind.
Sandra ushers Claire past the curtain. Claire lingers at a portrait.
That's my grandmother, Amelia. Belle's favorite niece.
Who's the artist?
Virgil Renwell. Yeah. If you've never heard of him, it's all right. No one has. But he was in love with my grandmother.
She looks so innocent.
Yeah, she hadn't married my grandfather yet. It was at Belle's insistence that she marry into a worthy family like the Prescotts.
Spot of honor.
The value of art is what it says to you. And my grandmother was special to me. I like having her here to watch over me. You know, I can never let go of art.
Sandra gathers up correspondence for Claire.
Every family has a secret hidden underneath the smiles, in the shadow of a portrait. Our lives are full of trials. Some are flashy, some amusing, some are trashy, some confusing, some embarrassing, some are torrid, some are harmful, some are horrid.
What's your family secret?
Oh, how about we talk about the hypothetical ones instead? Like the day-drinking dad, or the odd affair, or the uncle who's really in jail. There are plenty of stories that we just don't share. Every family has a secret.
And those are all
Of
hypothetical.
course, like the cousin who died in a poker game, or the auntie who posed in the nude. I know fathers and kids who don't look the same. Every family has a secret.
I won't lie, I'm intrigued.
So nowadays, it seems like people aren't so judgy. Your mom has a sex tape, so what? It's passé. All these cougars and mobsters and pronouns and kinks.
What kinds?
Oh, it's not for me to say, but it's good to live life without feeling shame. But some secrets are best left in the dark, so I keeping secrets just the same.
Are you sure you can't share with me? Look, I'm interested in learning everything about it.
Every family has a secret, and it's fine. Every family has a point in which they draw that line. Every family has a secret, yours and mine.
Sandra hands Claire a sizable stack of paper.
These might not be secrets, but I'm sure it will sate your interests.
A packing slip?
Yeah, I know. It's probably not that grand or interesting, but, well, let me see what other papers I can dig up.
Please.
Lights out. Scene 10. Bathed in an orange-tinted light, Belle Gardner composes a letter.
Amelia, I'm over the moon, a sweet little daughter, and bearing my name. It fills me with happy relief that you're settled in and you're shedding your grief. So I can tell you something crazy. Edward Degas invited me to his studio again. He was so lovely and funny, but he made me the most ridiculous proposal. He said that he would like to give me the gift of his painting, but he wants me to pose, but without any clothes. It's like he didn't get the memo. I was never a beauty, but he doesn't agree. He said he'd paint it for free. I obviously said no. Can you imagine? Imagine what they'd say, those society hags and those sordid reporters writing trash from their rags. Just imagine when they see me up in canvas and paint like a coquette. Imagine how they'd gape at the gallery door would have to pick up their judgy jaws from the floor just in order to say that they are truly offended and upset. I know your Uncle Jack would truly hate it, of course. Imagine how my marriage would end in divorce. Imagining is fun. Imagining is fine. But I can't cross the line. But it's nice to be tempted.
Scene 11, Claire's loft studio. Claire is back and in front of the painting, examining it. She holds the packing slip in front of the painting, as if the painting could read it.
Now that's interesting. Belle got the painting directly from Degas and personally brought the bath back to Boston. Seems a bit unusual. Just like you, Fran. No offense.
Claire puts on her apron.
What I need to do is get to work.
Claire approaches the painting.
Well, brushstrokes are like fingerprints, Fran. No two artists are the same. And this, well, this is a left-handed brushstroke. I always thought you were right-handed, Edward.
Claire pulls out her phone to check.
And you are. The brushstrokes aren't the same. Degas can't be the painter. Did I see what I just saw? I have to be insane. I've got to be mistaken. Belle got this painting straight from Degas. I had the shipping manifest right here from Sandra to confirm it. Degas made a painting. He gave it to Belle. It says so right here. And he was right-handed. It's indisputably clear this is not the painting Degas did, but it is the one that was taken in the heist. All of these years, it was a forgery sitting in the frame. So it therefore stands to reason that Belle did it on purpose. Jesus Christ! What does she do with the original? What could have been her aim? Does Aiden know the thread he has me pulling? Should I tell Aiden? Would he even believe? He would cancel the show and take his money and leave. But how can I do this knowing what I know? He would think that I'm crazy and go. The gardener had this painting up for 90 years and people loved it, including Belle. It's been written into history. Belle had to know the truth. So do I tell? You know what happens when you tell? The world falls down around you. No, you said you would forge this painting. It doesn't matter what it is, just get to work. Time for some acetone. Strip the paint from the canvas. Blot away at the layers of oil. Franny, look, there it goes on the cloth to my nose. Should I tell him? Strip away at the canvas. Every inch is an hour of toil. Franny, look, one more spot. I won't lie, it's a lot. Should I tell him? Underlay the shadow and form, turpentine and raw umber. Franny, look, it's your doppelganger who needs food or slumber. Should I tell him? Would he be concerned? A painting was stolen, now it's being returned. Bake it dry, this is gonna smell. Franny, I don't know. Should I tell?
Aiden enters.
Claire! Got a bit of paint everywhere.
Yeah, the perils of being a painter.
You make it beautiful.
A brief moment, up close, where it seems like they might kiss, but Aiden has other priorities.
Where's the painting?
Baking, but I was about to take it out of the oven.
This is your underlayer?
It is. I'm almost ready to start building up the blazes.
You're as talented as you are beautiful. What's wrong?
I'm just a little unnerved. Breaking the law and all.
If it helps, just pretend it's a copy. That's your alibi. You always thought it was a copy.
But is this real, though?
As real as it comes.
Aiden approaches her, comes incredibly close, but exits past her.
Put a glaze on the canvas, make it dry, then go glaze it again. Paint the towel, Prussian blue. Franny, what do I do? Should I tell him? Oh, put the ink on the canvas, watch the black cover all of their skin. Franny, look, see the crackles up here. Can you tell which one's mine? It's hard to know. It will be fine. Think of the show. Should I tell him?
Aiden stands at her doorway.
You brought champagne?
We're celebrating, aren't we?
Is every day a celebration with you?
Aiden takes Claire's hand.
If we play our cards right, it can be.
They share a moment, a near kiss moment, before Claire awkwardly retracts from his grip, crossing the stage to the covered painting.
Ta-da!
He reveals the finished painting.
It's better than I could have dreamed of.
What next?
Plan stays the same. Some nefarious fiends get the copy, and when the heat dies down, the original returns to the gardener.
Aiden kisses Claire.
What was that for?
Couldn't help myself. I've been drawn to talent my whole life. And you are so incredibly talented.
You're just happy to have the painting.
It's more than that. I think you know it. The tiny voices inside me get louder whenever I'm around you.
What are they saying?
Everything you do is amazing. Everything you say is amusing, so you know I have it bad. They think that everything you think is astounding. Every look you give is alluring. If you leave, they would be sad.
Are you drunk? Did you start celebrating early?
I know you have your doubts because our history is rocky and our current situation is a little shaky too. The way we came together is strange, but I don't see that it's gonna change the way I feel about you.
Why do you have to be so nice? Why do you have to smell so good? Where did you learn to kiss like that?
No one else accepts my ambition. No one else accepts my obsession with the painting on a wall.
Don't you think that it's better to wait till our business is done?
Even when you're kind of a nuisance, I don't want to live with your absence.
I know.
To think I almost didn't call.
If you were in my mind right now, you'd run.
I know we're starting out with darkness and a dash of fear.
A dash of
But we
fear.
accept each other's faults. In fact, they brought us here. It isn't over yet, I know, but I don't want to see you go. Please, don't go.
Aiden kisses Claire.
Where did you learn to kiss like that? Some would
Say that we're being reckless. Some would say our ladder is runless.
Expect to see us fail.
Good thing we never do the expected. No more facing life unassisted. Even if we end up arrested, you will visit me in jail.
As long as I'm not suspected.
Amusing. Our past is littered with debris, but we will make it through. But everything will work out fine as long as I'm with you.
lights down as they kiss again. Once again, the scene builds around Claire, scene 12 in Jake's. Once the bar set is established, Claire takes a seat next to Mike as Rick bursts in, waving a trade magazine.
Where is my precious Claire Bear? Are you serious? Were you seriously not gonna tell me that Aiden Markle is putting you up?
I know no gossip escapes you.
Wait, what's the gossip?
Rick hands Mike the magazine. Crystal lurks nearby.
Word on the street is my favorite artist, Claire Rock, has scored a freaking gallery show. Word on the street is my BFF has scored a gallery show, and I'm the last to know.
Markle G, how did this happen, Claire? I bet the Times, the Globe, and the Sun are gonna be there.
Word on the street is that you're brilliant and driven, that all is forgiven, so spill.
I didn't want to jinx it, but it's official. Markle G will host my Windows collection in December.
That's amazing!
Agreed.
Did you sleep with him or something?
Oh, sometimes talent finds a way. I know that doesn't quite make sense to you because...
Word on the street is that the artist in question has an innovative method that will stun the whole town.
Word on the street is that her work is amazing and her talent in blazing is the best hands down.
Markle G and maybe next the Met. This news is the best that it could possibly get. Word on the street is that her future is bright and that timing is right to kill.
Crystal
Turn on the
rushes to the
news.
bartender.
Turn on the news.
What is it?
New revelations about the Gardner Museum.
Turn it on.
The center stage screen now displays a news broadcast.
Once again, one of the paintings that was stolen in the 1990 art heist at Boston's own Gardner Museum has just been recovered in transit to India. It has been traced back to a pillar of the Boston art community, Aiden Markle. Markle's lawyer claims that, to his knowledge, it is just a copy of the work that he happened to come across in his dealings. He is being held pending bail.
And the world comes crashing down.
What do you think that means for his gallery?
Things don't look good for Aiden Markle.
And the world comes crashing down.
Do you think there will still be a Markle G in December? You know, for your show.
You've got to think, Claire, there's 3 versions of this painting that are out there. Which one did they impound? This is not fair! The world always comes crashing down.
Who would have thought that a successful man like Markle would be dealing in illegal art? Who would have thought that such a paragon of excellence was sinister at heart?
Word on the street is that he did it for the mafia.
A word on the street is that his lawyer's the best.
Word on the street is that he needed the money.
A word on the street is that he hasn't confessed.
It has got to be my version. Aiden already made that he made the deal. So the Gardner version must be in his vault. And Aiden still thinks that his version is real.
Word on the street.
How can I help?
Word on the street.
Who can I tell?
Word on the street.
What if I try?
Word on the street.
Can they arrest me as well?
Word on the street is. 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 Word on the street is.
And the world comes crashing down.
Act 2. Intermission. Use the bathroom if you need it. Act 2, Scene 1, Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Rick stands in a solo spotlight, center stage.
Welcome to the Gardner Museum, friends. Some of you look like you've been here before on this tour. I think I know why you're back, and I'm sure you've all heard that one of the missing Gardner paintings has been recovered and authenticated. We'll be unveiling it tonight, and we are ever so proud to welcome home After the Bath. Because the art world is like a painting you have previously viewed, but then the light shines on it different, and your interest is renewed. Cause the art world has surprises, even if it feels stale. speaking of crimes and mysteries in the art world, another interesting fact you may not know, over 30% of art in museums is guessed to be forgery. Don't feel bad. If it fooled the expert, why do you think you could figure out the difference? A great forger has techniques and will fool the greatest authenticator. Perhaps the most famous forger of all time is Van Meegeren. He forged a dozen Vermeers and had everyone fooled, including the Nazis.
Lights up to a different time.
As promised, Herr Heimler, an authentic Vermeer for you.
Danke!
When the war ended, Van Meegeren was found guilty of treason.
Those aren't real Vermeers. I painted them. Me. I fought the Nazis the only way I could, with forgery. And I can prove it.
In November 1947, he stood before the courts. He explained that in fact he was a hero and a saint because he fooled those Nazis for sport. So they gave him some canvas and paint, and then they said, you did it before, go on and do it again. So he took his brush in hand and he painted a fresh one right there on the stand. Art forger of a century, and it landed him in jail. He sold the world quite a story, but what is true and what's a tall tale? Because the art world is like a painting, because if you look a little deeper, you'll see another hidden something, and you may think you found a keeper. The art world is deceptive, and you think you found the Holy Grail. But what if you have chosen poorly? What is true and what's a tall tale?
Scene 2, jail. Aiden in jail in the meeting room. Claire enters.
What are your lawyers saying?
Right now, the case is hearsay and conjecture. My lawyer said the best thing I can do right now is stay silent, or I should get used to prison food.
Would it help to tell them that I painted what they recovered? If they knew it was a copy.
You're just laying in here with me.
Does that change if what you gave me was a forgery from the start? Then you wouldn't have to protect me anymore.
Interesting story. Don't know if it would sell.
What if it's the truth? Did you believe what you gave me was real?
It is real.
No, it's not.
You sure that's not your conscience talking?
I couldn't tell you what I discovered.
And why's that?
I needed the gallery show. I couldn't risk it going away. I knew you came to me for a reason.
That you'd say yes?
But don't be obtuse. You came to me because you knew I was more than capable of doing what you needed done.
Okay. If that's a fake, where do you think the real one is?
According to everything I've read, there's no way Belle ever let it out of her possession. I think it's hidden in the museum.
I would think that someone would have seen it by now if it was still there.
Like, everything she had was at the museum. I've spoken with her only remaining heir. I honestly don't know where else it could be.
Don't get me wrong, I'd love for you to be right. If a true original was discovered, a lot of this could go away. But if it's been hidden for so long, I don't imagine it's going to reveal itself in the next week.
The next week? Is it that bad?
Aiden brings his hidden hand into view of both Claire and the audience.
What happened?
I owe some less than desirable friends a large sum of money. They expected the proceeds from a sale. This was their warning and their promise.
You could sell some of your work. I'd help.
Not an option.
Your hand, though.
Just a finger.
But what's next?
Try not to think about that.
Lights out. Scene 3. Bathed in an orange-tinted light, Belle Gardner composes a letter.
Amelia, prepare to be shocked. I've done something. He put on music. I don't recall the piece, although I knew it. It's like a dream now. The pieces of the afternoon flowed through it. The details aren't clear, they seem to disappear, but I won't forget the look on his face. The timber was so perfect. He had me arch my back and face the candle. It was not shameful, an artist and a model with no scandal. The warm air on my skin, the mood that I was in, and I know what everybody would say. But if you only knew how unrestrained I felt when he said, Belle, won't you stay?
Belle pretends to remove her clothes.
It was just like breaking free from a chrysalis, like I'd been renewed. And I realized then who I truly am is not the way that I am viewed. I have never felt so much like a woman. Something really happens when you lay yourself bare. And I know there may be consequences, but I don't care. I don't care.
Scene 4, Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum.
Because the art world is like a painting. It has surprises, it has reveals. And tonight is the unveiling. And OMG, I got the feels. You are all truly in for a treat. You are the first to lay eyes on Degas' work after the bath. Well, at least the first to relay eyes on its return. We're delighted to represent the sixth painting in Degas' After the Bath series.
Debussy's Prelude to an Afternoon with a Faun begins to play, and the painting is unveiled. The company stare raptly at it as it is finally and totally uncovered.
It is so beautiful, the blues, the corals, the whites. It is so wonderful to see it put back to right.
The lights shift, and now it's a club.
You can tell your friend I'm in me, I was there that day. All the years and the tears so they can all dry our eyes and finally say the bath is back. Back where it belongs, the bath is back. This old painting was taken away by a criminal fiend. But then we got the call, now it's back on the wall, just like I dreamed, the bath is back. Back where it belongs, the bath is back. We got the bath back, and it's home inside its frame. It's so pretty. Let me hear you all explain. The bath is back. The bath is back. And it's here to stay.
We need to talk.
Are you breaking up with me?
It's life or death.
Be right back, everyone. What is so important that you need to talk right now in the biggest night of the event of the year?
Claire speaks to Rick privately.
We got the bath back, it's right home inside his face, so let's one down, and let's all shout out the name. The bath is back, the bath is back, and it's here to stay.
So let me get this straight. Markle hired you to paint a reproduction of After the Bath, and that work, your work, is the painting we're celebrating right now? Painting that hung in the Gardner all this time was already a forgery?
Yes. The bath is here somewhere, the real one.
Oh, I'm getting Elena.
Look at the sink, it is so beautiful. Look at the towel,
Look at her staring.
it is so beautiful. Look at her ear,
Look at the
it
tile,
is so beautiful. Look at the mist,
Look at the
smile is so beautiful.
Rick leads Claire to Alina's office.
Claire off. Now where have I heard that name? Oh, I guess that you're up to the same old game. You've got some moxie, I'll give you that. Do you think that I'm a fool? The Great Pretender is your name. The Great Pretender is your claim to fame. Like I would ever believe this crazy story is true.
You don't have to believe, I'll prove it to you. I painted a small green dot on the back right corner of the canvas.
Even if it's there, it doesn't mean anything. You could have seen that or read about that.
It means everything. Look, the real work is still out there. It could be hidden somewhere in this museum.
My God, you have some gall. Okay, you painted it. Prove it. I will be at your place tomorrow with canvas and witnesses. For tonight, get out of my sight.
Alina opens the door and the revelry can be heard again.
Your presence is ruining our festivities.
Claire exits. Dance break.
Got the backpack, it's right home inside his frame. So last one down, and let's all shout out the name. The bath is back, the bath is back, and it's here to stay. 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 The bath is back.
Scene 5. Scene 5, Claire's loft studio.
So good news, bad news. They're behind me. You have minutes.
I hope that's the bad news. That's the bad news, right?
Are you ready?
Paints and brushes. It's a crucible I've lived through before.
Not like this.
What's the good news?
I found something.
Rick pulls the poster tube from his back and unrolls a building blueprint.
What am I looking at?
Blueprints. To the Gardner Museum. I was thinking about what you were saying. Nothing could be hidden in plain sight, or a million people would have seen it already. But what if it wasn't in view?
Rick taps the paper and Claire re-examines it.
A false wall?
It wasn't in the original plans. Why would a pointless wall be added?
How much space is behind it? Enough to hide a painting?
As a representative of the museum, I cannot say anything, of course.
Rick extends the blueprint to Claire. She accepts it.
But I can. Thank you.
I'm on Team Claire.
Rick hears the sound of approaching footsteps.
Though I may have to be a silent supporter.
Understood.
3 knocks. Claire steadies herself, then approaches the door. She opens it, and museum director Alina and 2 witnesses come in. Both witnesses record everything on their cell phones.
Director.
Miss Roth, I want to see every stroke of paint, every trick that you claim that you used, all those secret little skills you conveniently possess. List them all so we aren't confused. I want to see how the great pretender fooled the experts that we hired. Here's your canvas, stripped and bleached. Time to get inspired. We obviously don't have time to sit through an entire painting. Why don't you just paint this model?
Hello, Franny.
What?
Oh, deja vu. Nothing. The first step is to sketch with charcoal and then do the underlayment.
Great. Dazzle us.
Lighting change. Set pieces appear so that the other side of the room represents an office at the Met. Claire steps through a dark space on the stage and appears 3 years younger. Stands across from the Met director, who sits at a desk. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're telling me that you and not Isaac Cullen painted 4G.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay. Isaac. Yes, same to you. So I'm sitting here with a friend of yours, Claire Roth. She just told me that she painted 4G.
Isaac, please, just tell her the truth.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I totally understand. Look, Isaac says that your breakup has been really hard on you, and that, I shouldn't also be hard on you.
So you believe him?
I'll tell you what, why don't I just give you a chance to prove your claim? Bring an easel and a full set of brushes and oils to my office, and you can paint a companion to 4G. Same style, same series, right here, right now. Dazzle me. Claire steps through the dark center stage and returns to her loft and Alina.
So that's the underlayer?
Yes. Now I bake it at 200 degrees until it is as dry as it would be if it were painted 100 years ago. How many people in the history of art, out of every single painter, has ever held a brush, had to do this song and dance? 2 times. I bet it's only me who drew that special royal flush.
Claire crosses through the dark center, appears once again in front of the Met director, who stands alongside her finished work. It's incredible. I have no reason to believe you. I've known Isaac for years, but this is striking proof of what you claim.
Now what?
I take this work to the directors. Like, I have no idea what they'll do. 4G is a big draw, and a scandal would be an embarrassment. Just go and I'll be in touch. Claire crosses through the dark center, appearing once again in her loft. Claire takes the painting out of the oven.
I'll keep adding layers of glaze. Right now, I'm focused on the skins. With all of these layers, the light will bounce off the skin, making it look like it glows.
How many more layers?
It depends. Probably 10.
Keep going.
How many people in the history of art dug themselves into a hole of such an epic freaking size, then went out and dug that hole 2 times? I wager that I'd be the winner if there were a prize.
Claire crosses through the dark center, appearing once again in front of the Met director. I'm sorry, Claire, the directors are rejecting your claim as fiction.
But you believe me.
Yeah, well, it's not about belief. It's about saving face. There's just no way they can back you. Look, my advice is just start fresh, but keep painting. You're brilliant, and that'll eventually shine through. Claire crosses through the dark center, appearing once again in her loft. Claire takes the painting out of the oven.
And that's the final layer of glaze.
Incredible work, but it doesn't look like what's hanging in the museum.
No, not yet. It needs a wash of India ink. You can't see the cracks left in this old canvas yet, but they're there. The ink will make them visible.
Go get your ink.
How many people in the history of art, out of every eager painter that has ever had a dream, made the same bad choices, took the same wrong turn, wrote the same bad story with the same bad theme, and now it's done.
Alina appraises it.
You've got some talent. They say 30% of the art in museum is forged. I didn't believe. If I hadn't watched you, I would have sworn that you were lying. You've got serious skills, but now you're in serious trouble.
But I'm cooperating.
Don't be naive. I'm calling the FBI. There's gonna be hell to pay for someone, maybe you. Your story makes no sense. How many crimes have you perpetrated? They will find out why you even painted this in the first place. Who was it for? What's their defense? Why was this painting created?
Well, you are skipping the most important part. The painting I copied my version from was not a Degas. It wasn't the original. And what's the thing about Belle we know? She never sold a single painting. Once it was hers, she kept it forever, so it must still be here somewhere. We know she would never let it go. She would never let it go. I believe I know where the real bath is.
Alina signals to the witnesses to stop recording.
I'm all ears.
I think it's been in your museum all along. Belle would never let go of art. She always wanted to keep it where it belongs.
Claire brandishes the blueprints.
And this is why she had a false wall built to hide it. What other purpose could it serve?
A false wall sounds like a bit of false hope.
We have to check. I want to be there when you do.
I don't know that you're in a position to make requests, but if you're there and you're wrong, it'll be easier for the authorities to take you into custody. I have a call into the FBI already.
Alina exits with her witnesses.
I hope you know what you're doing.
You and me both.
Just in case, I'm gonna call Mike.
Rick exits.
How many people in the history of art, out of every single painter with a livelihood to screw, took a leap of faith in the hope that they'd pull a Nancy Drew?
Claire's question hangs in the air, and the set shifts around her to Scene 6, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. Workers take sledgehammers to an offstage wall as Claire, Rick, Mike, and a pair of FBI agents look on.
I'm right about this. I know it.
I hope so. That wall is older than both of us.
I am low-key freaking out. 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 It has got to be in there.
Why else would she build it? Every part of this building was laid out with precision.
I am betting the farm on our skills as detectives.
That's an interesting decision.
I am low-key freaking out. I am low-key freaking out. I am low-key freaking out. I am low-key freaking out.
Rick reaches out a hand to secretly grab Claire's hand for a moment to squeeze it.
It's a secret wall. Why is it there if not to protect a secret?
Workers finish, wiping sweat from their brows as one FBI agent walks towards the hole, flashlight raised. The other FBI agent looks at Claire wearily.
Please let me be right.
The flashlight scans left, then right.
Nothing.
But that's not possible. Look again.
Nothing.
Look again!
Claire rushes forward, snatching the flashlight and looks for herself.
You'll have to come with us, miss. I'm afraid we're gonna have to place you under arrest.
Sorry.
Mike enters.
I'm late. Did I just hear you're about to arrest my client? I'll need a quick word with her.
I am low-key freaking out.
Just
I am
chill.
low-key freaking out.
You have to focus, Claire.
Low-key freaking out. I
Keep
am
still.
low-key freaking out.
Listen, please, for the love of God, do not talk to the police or reporters. They will want a statement. They will ask if you did it. Do not answer them.
I never had the original Degas. Shouldn't I at least tell them that?
No! When you enter the car, you do not say one word. When you exit the car, you do not say one word. Are you listening, Claire? Have you even heard a thing I said?
Why would there be reporters?
'Cause it's a slow news day and you're a beautiful woman with a past. And people love a good story and this one's developing fast. They will bring up the Met and Isaac, that whole deal. They will say that you lie, that you seduce and you steal. You will want to defend yourself, I know how you feel, but you can't say a word.
FBI agents nudge Claire to keep her moving.
Say nothing, Claire. They'll eat you alive and print how you taste. I'll be right behind you. My client is not answering any questions without her lawyer present.
FBI agent leads Claire off stage.
Do not say one word.
Scene 7, jail. Aiden enters the meeting space and rushes towards Claire.
Here was some news of the world. Any big discoveries?
I've barely seen the world. Look at us. I'm out on bail and you're in a cell.
Bail.
Rick and I tried to find where Belle had hidden the mail bag.
And since you're out on bail, I'm guessing you were wrong?
I should have never gotten involved.
The art or me?
Where's the line between the two? Where does the art end and Aiden begin?
I have a problem, Claire.
More than one from where I'm sitting. Please, just tell me the plan was never to do anything wrong. You were going to return the bath to the museum once I'd made your copy, right? Why do you look so guilty?
I was never gonna give it back, Claire. I was lying to you the whole time. I couldn't bring myself to share it. I told myself it was a victimless crime. At first I figured I would buy you off with a show and a brand new start. I didn't think I'd fall so hard. I didn't know that I had that kind of heart. Was it really so wrong to think that we could just enjoy it together? Would it really be so bad to be down with that tether? Was it so impossible that we could survive a little bad weather? It's ridiculous, I know, but I could never let her go. I can never let them go.
You were lying from the start.
Be honest. You weren't lying to me, you were lying to yourself.
It looks like both of us are lying. It looks like both of us are awful. It looks like both of us get what we deserve.
Claire steps outside.
You thought that I could just move past it. I thought that you were better clueless. We threw each other for a curve. An empty promise isn't empty till it's broken. A lie does not become a lie unless it's spoken. I guess omission isn't wrong by that same token. Everything is fine. Everything is fine without the truth. I made a deal with the devil. I'm once again the great pretender when all I wanted was to show my art. I was so blinded by his promise, then once again by his charisma. Of course it's all falling apart. When something seems too perfect, that's because it is. I took the blue pill and I failed at every quiz. He swallowed up my lies just like I swallowed his, and everything is fine. Everything is fine without the truth. I wonder which of us is more messed up. He tried to play me for a fool. He always planned to end our little scheme in blackmail and thought that I'd be cool. I can't pretend to have the high ground here. I was okay to let him deal with the scam. I was okay to profit from the whole deception. I knew it was a sham. It looks like both of us were lying. scandal. This is really wearing thin. Another broken heart. Please, someone play a violin. Everything was fine without the truth. Everything was fine. Everything was fine without the truth. Now we both crossed a line. He told me everything I needed to know. He said right to my face he'd never let it go. Just like Sandra said, she'd never let them go. Sandra.
Claire rushes off stage. Scene 8. Bathed in an orange-tinted light, Belle Gardner composes a letter.
Amelia, please go somewhere alone to read this and burn it when you're done. Once you read it, you will see. Amelia, I need your help. I've been so reckless. My choice is haunting me. Remember how alive I felt when posing for Degas. Remember how I said if there were consequences, I don't care. Remember how you told me that my logic had a flaw. Well, you were right. You were right.
Curtains open behind Belle to reveal Sandra's house.
Claire, what's the matter?
We have to talk. I've lied to you, Sandra. I'm not writing a book.
Well, all right, if you're going to confess, it's best to do so over tea.
Amelia, I'm a mess right now. I'm sick, I'm shaking. I'll try to rule my thoughts. Maybe then you'll help me plan. Amelia, I thought it was so innocent. If you can't help me, no one can.
I had to turn your letters over to the FBI.
Why?
I was arrested yesterday.
Maybe we need something stronger than tea.
I got a note from Edgar asking when I could drop by. He said he had a present that he hoped that I'd accept. I prayed it was a painting, but he did not clarify, and I was right. I was right!
I'm so sorry, but I have to do this.
Claire runs to the curtain on the wall. She rips open the curtain, and there, on the wall, is the original After the Bath.
I'm so sorry.
It was so beautiful. The blues, the corals, the white. It was so beautiful. 3 ladies awash in the light. It's like their skin was painted by the finger of God, like they were real enough to touch. 3 women rising out of the bath. I could not speak. It was too much. It was too beautiful.
After the bath is all I have left about Belle. I know it was wrong to keep it for myself, but my mother and grandmother insisted. And to be honest, I just wanted it for myself.
Amelia, I stood there in a haze of rapture. It took a little time, but it wasn't hard to see. Amelia, the model in the corner bathing was me. And I'd be ruined if my husband were to find this out. I would be ruined if this painting were to see the light of day. Remember all that fuss when Sargent painted me with cleavage? I'm on display. What do I do?
Every family has a secret.
What do I do?
Living underneath a shine.
What do I do?
The shadow of a portrait. This is mine. It all comes back to Virgil and Amelia. He was a poor, starving artist, and Belle kept them apart. Amelia married him at Belle's insistence, but Virgil Renville always had her heart. Belle hired Virgil Renville to craft a copy of the bath replacing Belle.
Hello, Franny.
But Belle, of course, had no idea Virgil and Amelia had been having an affair the whole time. When my Aunt Belle was dying, she made Amelia promise to bring the painting back to the Gardner Museum. But the museum director shut us out of the entire Gardner legacy, and Amelia was enraged. She decided she couldn't let the work, her lover's work, go.
What do I do?
He was my grandfather.
He painted this for my museum.
Their lives entwined with secrets.
What do I do?
No one ever knew.
What do I do?
Except my mom and me. It was wrong, I know.
Amelia,
I lived in fear.
we must make a plan. I would not give it up. I need for it to stay here. Amelia,
I told myself
he made it just
it
for
wasn't
me.
mine, I
And
know
I
it
feel
worked
it in my heart. I will never let it go. Never let it go. Never let it go.
I hope that this will help you. I'm relieved, you know. It's been my joy. It's been my burden. I could never let it go.
Scene 9, a gallery. Not quite the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. It's small and quaint, but Claire's art lines all of its walls.
Claire's having her gallery opening tonight. She's the one who copied the Degas and fooled everyone. In the 6 months since, she's become quite the conversation piece, as her art has gotten a lot of interest and from a myriad of collectors. Because the art world is like a painting, you find a work that you condemn. But then that work you thought was nothing turns out to be a hidden gem. Oh, the art world has surprises. We thought that Claire would go to jail, but now the truth is shining brightly, and it isn't just a tall
Claire
tale.
walks up to Rick.
Rick,
Yes.
are you giving a tour of my gallery?
Yeah, maybe.
Do I have to pay you?
Only in friendship. Congratulations, Claire.
Thank you.
Mike approaches with a fresh champagne for both Rick and Claire.
Hey, Crystal's here.
We'll go anywhere with free champagne.
So, how do you feel now that you've finally gotten credit for being the artist behind 4G?
She feels great, but she feels even better if you look at some of her great new pieces. Word on the street is my favorite artist. Claire Roth is gonna sell off every painting tonight.
Word on the street is that she's got so hot that she's got 3 new commissions.
Girl, is that right? Markle G, and now she's moved along. You don't need a gallery to prove them all wrong. Word on the street is that you're classic but bold, so go and make some more gold.
Aiden approaches Claire. Rick and Mike retreat strategically.
Congratulations, Claire.
There's no Merkle G showing, but it's mine. Is this your first time out of jail?
Second, I'm still attracted to your talent.
I'm still very aware of the danger you brought to the both of us. How are your fingers?
Danger can be eternal.
Not if you're smart.
I have a proposition.
Of course you do.
Everyone has something that they covet, something like collecting for a show, something that they'll lie for, deal with the devil when it comes a knocking, they can't say no. I'm asking you, Claire, can you find forgiveness? I made some mistakes, but I've learned. I won't lie to you again, and no more organized crime. Now I know how to avoid getting burned.
Are you still working the angles?
Collection doesn't pay for itself.
You can, if you paint it yourself.
Claire, there's money to be had by selling reproductions from The Girl Who Fooled the Gardener.
I'm through with the deceptions. I'm through with all the angles. I'm through with all the drama. No more lies. No stupid reproductions. No battle with intentions. No hiding what I'm doing. No disguise.
So, no?
No, thank you.
Aiden nods and exits. Rick enters.
You okay?
Great. I have a painting front and center in a gallery window, and this time it features my name. Maybe there are those who get a kick from my scandal, but I don't need that kind of fame. It's their own lives they are tainting.
They don't need another tall tale.
The art world's like a painting. Redford to see the truth in cobalt blue. I'll gesso the canvas in a brighter hue than chromatic black, with some arms reaching back, and above there's a glow with the shadow below.
The art world's like a painting.
There's scandal, there's fortune, there's truth, and there's lies.
The art world's like a
But at
painting.
the end of the day, it's the art that survives.
Like- And that's it. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming. Our amazing cast, piano, new musicals. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Or day.